So, dear students, so today our topic is spatial senses, in which we can discuss regarding the anatomy and physiology of eye. So, in our body, so there is a various spatial organs are there. So, they are required for the various functions regarding taste, hearing, smell, touch, as well as the vision. So, these are regulated by a special organs. Okay, so those are known as the special senses organ. So now we can discuss regarding the today that is special organism, that is the eye. So before going to the eye, so we can understand regarding the special senses. So definition: the special senses are the senses so that are regulated by a special organs like skin, eye, ear, nose, and as well as tongue. So these are considered as the special sense organs. So these organs, so they regulate the special functions. So regarding the eye, so eye it was play an important role in the regulations of the vision. So eye it can consist of the photoreceptors. So those photoreceptors, so they can convert image or object into a impulses, and those impulses they are sent to the brain. So then the brain it can recognize the object. Okay, so that's why the eye is a special sense organ. It can regulate the special senses like a vision. So with the help of the special type of cell, so those are present in the eye. So those are known as the photoreceptors. So without photoreceptors, we cannot be recognize the image. So because of photoreceptors, so due to voltage changes, so they are convert image into a impulses. So those impulses, one of the brain part, so that was identify the image, and then only you should be or we should be recognize the that particular object in front of our eye. And the special, there is a second special organ is there, that is the ear. So ear, so it is play an important role in the hearing and balance. Okay, so this ear it is also convert sound waves into a impulses. What are sound waves are there? So they are stuck on the eardrums. Okay, so in the eye, the retina is play an important role to the vision, and but in the ear, that is the eardrum. So it was play an important role in the hearing and balance. So when the sound waves, so when they are struck or hit on the eardrums, so those sound waves they create the vibration, and those vibrations, so they are converted into a impulses. So that is the role of the mechanoreceptors. So they are present behind the eardrums. Whatever the vibration occurs on the eardrum, so those vibration, so they are converted into impulses. So then only we can recognize the sound. Okay, we can recognize the, that is the speech or anything related to the sound. And as well as the ear, it was helpful for to balancing the body. Okay, so automatically your hand can be balances when you start to fall down. Automatically your hand will be balances. So that is the due to the only ear. So that whatever that the balancing body capacity of body is there. So there is the role of the ear. So that's why by closing ear we cannot balances our body. So that's why, so ear, so with the help of the mechanoreceptors, so it was involved in the hearing and as well as balancing of the body. So next one is the, that is the nose. Okay, so nose, so it is also the special organ or special sense organ. It was involved in the regulations of the smell, also known as the olfactions. Okay, it is regulate the smell or olfaction. So whatever smell, so we are recognized. So that is the role of the nose, or that is the role of the chemoreceptor. So chemoreceptor, So they are present in the nose. So their major role is they can detect the smell and smell waves. So they are counted into a impulses. Then the olfactory nerve, so that carries the impulses towards the brain or towards the temporal lobe. So then only we can recognize the that is the smell. But any default on the chemoreceptors or on the olfactory nerve, so we are failed to recognize the smell. So it is the one of the first symptoms, so that was commonly seen in the COVID-19 patient. Somewhere the olfactory nerve was damages or malfunction due to entry of the COVID-19 viruses. So due to that, in the early stage, okay, so we can lose the smell. If you lose the smell mean, so that can denote we are suffering from the problem in the olfactions or olfactory nerve. So that smell, so that was regulated by the nose. So with the help of the special type of cells, so those are known as the chemoreceptors. So next one, so that is the tongue. So tongue, it was play an important role in the digestions. Okay, so it is helpful for to mix the food, so that of with the saliva. So that is the main role of the tongue. But the same tongue, on its surfaces, it can consist of the millions of the taste buds. Okay, so due to presence of those taste buds, the tongue is helpful for to recognitions of the taste. So with the help of the chemoreceptor, so that's the tongue is, so it was involved in the to regulate the taste. So once again, whatever the chemoreceptor they are present in the tongue, so they convert the taste bud with the help of taste buds. So they convert taste into a impulses. Those impulses reaches to the your brain. So then only the brain can recognize the taste. So then only we can feel the what kind of the food we are taken. If any problem in the taste buds, so then we are failed to recognize in the case of the fever. So when we are having the fever, so on that time the taste buds are malfunctions. Our brain is malfunction. It cannot be recognized whatever the impulses came from the taste buds. So that's why in the case of the fever, anything we do not have any taste. That is the one of the reasons. So next one is that is the skin. So skin is the largest organ, considered as the largest organ. It can protect our body. It is the outer surface of the body. So that skin is also the special sense organ. So it was involved in the special senses like touch, pressure, and temperature. So whatever the temperature is fall on our skin from the environment or pressure, and anything or we can touch or with that can touch to us. Okay, so that was recognized by a skin, so with the help of the mechanoreceptor. So these are the special sense organs, so they are involved in the regulations of the special senses like a vision, hearing and balance, then smell and as well as the taste, and as well as touch, pressure, and as well as the temperatures. So now we learn regarding the anatomy of eye. So the location of the eye is, so eye is present in the cranium or skull or in the face, just above the cheekbone or in the orbit. So that orbit is formed with the help of the forebrain or orbital bones or ethmoid bones or with the help of the nose. So an orbital cavity was formed. So inside the orbital cavity, so one organ is there. So that was known as the, so that is the eye. So the whatever the eye is there, so that eye is mainly categorized into two parts. That is the external structure and as well as the internal structure. So external structure, it consists of the sclera, conjunctiva, cornea, iris, and pupil. So these are external to the body or external to the eye. Okay. So these all part that external structure, so they are helpful for to correct the light rays that was enter into the eye. The internal structure, it was consist of the lens, retina, optic nerve, aqueous humor, then as well as vitreous humor, so they are present in the here, so between the lens and the retina. Okay, so they are helpful for once again to fall the object correctly on the retina. So then only retina, so with the help of the photoreceptor it can convert into impulses, then only we can recognize the impulses with the help of the brain. So regarding the sclera, so this is the outer layer, so this is the sclera, so that is the outer layer of the eye. So it is a tough and thick white sheath. So actually sclera, it is made up of the connective tissues. So it is a tough and a thick. So it is the white in colors. Okay, so that's why the sclera is also known as the white of the eye. So due to white in nature, it is a tough in nature as well as it is a having the thick. Okay, so due to that it was sclera. It was known as the white of the eye. So the major functions of the sclera, so it is mainly involved in the to protect the inner parts of the our eye. So what are the inner parts of there? So those can be protected by the one tough layer. So that tough layer is nothing but that was the sclera. So sclera is the outermost layer of the eye. It is made up of the connective tissue. So next one is the conjunctiva. So conjunctiva, it is a thin transferred membrane. So that spread across the sclera. So just below the sclera, so one thin layer is there, a transparent layer is there. So that below the sclera, so that was known as the conjunctiva. So the major functions of the conjunctiva. So the conjunctiva, it is helpful for to keep the eye moist and as well as clear, because it was involved in the secretions of the small amount of mucus and tears. So the conjunctiva, so it can secrete the mucus, so as well as the tears. So that tears and mucus, it can keep the eye as a moist and as well as clear. If any dust has enter, so on that time, so this secretion was increases, so that was helpful for to remove the, so those foreign substances or dust particles, so they are enter in the eye. So that is one of the role of the conjunctiva. So next part of the eye, so that was known as the cornea. Okay, so next part of the eye, so that was known as the cornea. So it is also a transparent layer of, okay, skin. So that is the spread over the pupil and iris. So over the pupil and iris, one transparent layer is spread. So that was known as the, so this one. So this is the known as the cornea. So it is the transparent layer of the skin. So that can spread over the pupil and as well as the iris. Okay, so its major function is it can reflect the light, so that can enters into the eye. It is simply it can correct the light rays, so those are ready to enter into the eyes. That was one of the role of the cornea. So next one, so regarding the iris, so these are the muscles, so they are present just above the eye. So these are the pigments or pigmented layer of the tissues, so that make up the colored portion of the eye. Okay, so they actually, or some people their eye look like a blue, or some they are look like a yellow. So that is due to the presence of the tissues or pigmented tissues, or these are nothing but the iris. Okay, so the major function of the iris is, so they are control the size of the pupil. So here, so in the vision, the size of the pupil, so that was the main. Okay, so when it is small, the size is decreases, so then only the near vision is possible. So when it was dilated, a size was increases, so then only the far visions or longer visions or object can be possible to visions, okay, or to see. So that the size of the pupil, so that was adjusted by the, so these tissues, so those are known as the iris. So next one is the rational part structures of the eye, so that was known as the pupil. So pupil, it is the small opening located in the middle of the iris. So in the middle of, you can look your eye. So in the middle of the eye or in the iris, so one small point is present. So that point is nothing but the pupil. So this pupil is only one place through which only so the light, so regarding the objects, so that can enter into the eye. So these are the external accessory structures of the eye. So regarding the sclera, conjunctiva, cornea and iris, so as well as the pupil. So regarding the internal structure, it consists of lens, retina, optic nerve, aqueous humor and as well as the vitreous humor. So lens, it is the transparent and biconvex. So the lens, it was play an important role in the vision. So the lens, it can helpful for to focus the light on the retina. Okay, so lens, it was helpful for the to focus the light and as well as the image exactly on the retina. So that was possible so with the help of the lens. So next one is the retina. So retina is the one layer, so that is the back of the eye. So on the retina only through the lens, so the object can be fall downs. Okay, so the major function, so this is the locations of the retina. So it is one of the layer, so on which only so the light can be fall or object images, so that can cross through the lens then fall on the exactly fall on the retina. So this retina, it consists of the various type of the cells, and those cells role is so what are the object or light, so regarding the object or image, so that was fall on the retina, so those object, so they are converted into a impulses, and later on, so those impulses, they are sent to the brain, so with the help of the optic nerve. So this retina, it convert image into a electrical signals, nothing but impulses. That is the role of the retina, because it consists of the special type of the cells, those are known as the photoreceptors. So those photoreceptors, so when the light will be fall on the retina, okay, so those light rays are converted into a impulses, then those impulses sent to the brain, so with the help of the optic nerve. So that's why the retina, it was play an important role in the two, that is the visions. So next one is the regarding the, that is the optic nerve. So optic nerve is the cranial nerve. So it is located just behind the retina. Its branches, so they are located just behind the retina. Its major function is it can collect the impulses, so that was created by retina and sent to the brain. So whatever the impulses, so they are arises are created by a photoreceptor cells. So those are present in the retina. So those impulses carries towards the brain for recognitions of the images. So that is the one of the role of the optic nerve. So optic nerve is the cranial nerve. So next one is the, that is the aqueous humor. So it is a watery fluid. It is present between the lens and cornea. So between the lens and cornea, so watery fluid is present. So that is the aqueous humor. So the major functions of the aqueous humor is it can neurosis the lens as well as cornea. So during the visions, some problem is arises when the light really falls on the lens. But so due to presence of the aqueous humor, it can protect the our lens as well as cornea by nourishing it. So next one is the, that is the vitreous humor. So it is a semi-solid, transparent or jelly-like substance. So that can cover the, that is the inner portion of the eye. So this vitreous humor, it is helpful for to maintain the size and shape of the eye, and as well as it can refract the light so that can exactly fall on the retina. So vitreous humor, so it is also helpful for the vision by involving the refractions of light correctly so that was fall on the retina. So how the light object so that was need to fall on the retina, so that was adjusted according to the need. So that is the one of the role of the vitreous humor. So if any variation in the vitreous humor, so then only the vision problem is occurs. And same the vitreous humor, it is also to maintain the shape and size of the eye. So like that, so the our eye is mainly categorized into two parts. So that is the external structure, so as well as the internal structure. It mainly consists of the sclera, that is the outermost layer. Okay, it can protect the eye or internal organs of the eye, and it is the white in color, so due to that it was known as the white part of the eye. Then the conjunctiva, it is just uh, underlying the sclera. So this conjunctiva, it mainly involved in the secretions of the mucus, okay, and tears. So that secretion is helpful for to keep the eye moist or to avoid the dryness of the eye. So then the iris and pupil, so iris, they are helpful for to adjust the size of the pupil, and the pupil is the only, it consists of the hole through which only the light can fall on the lens. So like that the infrastructure, that is the lens, retina is the membrane backside, so the where the object can fall. Then the optic nerve, so they are the most important to carries the impulses that were generated by the retina. Then aqueous humor and vitreous humor, they protect the eye as well as, so they are involved in the refractions of the light. So next we can learn regarding the physiology of vision. So the physiological events of vision, so that consist of the five stages. So first stage, that is the refractions of the light entering the light. That is nothing but adjustment of the light. So that was correctly enter into the eye or enters toward the retina. So that phase of the vision is known as the refractions of light that can enter into the eye. And second one, focusing of image on the retina by accommodations of lens. Okay, sometimes the images, so they are fall before the retina, then also they create the problem in the vision. Or some images, so they are generated after the retina, then also, so there is the problem in the visions. Okay, so in this phase, so where the lens is adjusted, okay, the size was adjusted, so then only the images can exactly can fall on the retina. Okay, so that phase or process is known as the accommodations of the lens. So next one is the conver convergence of images. Okay, so we having the two eye, but we can see the same object at a time. There is two images cannot be generated on the eye, or cannot be two images related information cannot be enter into the our brain. Okay, so that is the adjustment, once again the adjustment of the light rays, so those are the fall on the retina. So that was known as the convergence of image, that is simply focusing of the both eye in a single point or single object. Next one is the phase involved in the that is the physiology of vision, that was the photochemical activity in retina or conversion into a neural impulses. So it is one of the important phase in the vision, so where certain chemical activities occurs when the object will fall on the retina, and those images, so they are counted into a impulses. So in the phase 4 and phase 5, that is the processing in brain, and perception. That is the recognition of the image by a brain. Okay, so now we learn regarding one by one. That is the refractions of light entering the eye. So light waves pass parallel to the each other. Okay, so the light rays, so they are passes into the eye by parallel. But due to this phenomena, that is the refractions of the light, so where so but in some condition, so those rays, so they are bent, so that the bending process is helpful for to exactly, so the light can pass on the retina. So that process is known as the refractions of light. So here the parallel wave of light, so that can pass through the cornea and as well as aqueous humor, then the lens, then the vitreous fluid or humor, then they can fall on the retina. So when the passing the parallel light, okay, so according to that is the that is the fall of the image on the that is the retina, so where the light can be bent in each step when they are passing through the cornea or aqueous humor and lens and vitreous, and then only so they correctly, so the images are emerged on the retina. So that the bending phenomena by passing of the light, so that was known as the refractions of light. So in normal eye, so the light wave, so they are focused on the retina, but in the case of the myopic eye or short sightedness, so the light focused in front of the retina, here the light was the focuses. So in the case of the short sightedness or myopic eye, so that, so that can be that it is the one of the defect of the eye, so that can be treated by using the concave lens. Okay, so next, another conditions related to the abnormalities in the refractions of light. So that was known as the far sightedness. So there is a light that can poke focused behind the retina. So here the light is focused. So then also there is a creating the problem to recognize the image. And this type of the defect, so that was treated by using the convex lens. So that's why, so in the normal eye, in the normal human beings, so if their eye functions is normal, so due to presence of the cornea or aqueous humor lens and vitreous humors, so the light, whatever the parallel light waves are there, so they are fall on the retina, and by adjusting way by bend whenever they are necessary. Okay, simply, so that phenomena is known as the refractions of the light. So that why by adjusting the size of the cornea, okay, or by secretions of aqueous humor or adjustment of the lens or even the vitreous fluid, that can helpful for to bend the light waves, so that can exactly fall on the retina, not a before, not a after. So that phenomena or that process is known as the refraction of light. So next one is the known as the, that is accommodations of the lens to focus image. So accommodation is a reflex process in which the light rays from the object, so that can focus on the retina by adjusting the lens. Okay, accommodation is the one of the process of the visions or process of the reflex actions of the eye. So where the light rays or object, so that can exactly fall on the retina by or with the help of the adjustment of the size of the lens, so that was known as a accommodations of lens. So for example, in the case of the distance focus, okay, in the case of the distance focus, so that can regulated by the sympathetic nervous system. So this sympathetic nervous system, so when you are seeing the far visions or distance vision. So on that time the sympathetic nervous system, it can relax the ciliary muscles. So due to that the lens become the normal. Okay, so due to that the lens can be dilated or the pupil can be dilated. So due to relaxations of the ciliary muscle by a sympathetic nervous system, so then only the far distance image, so they can exactly falls on the retina. So this is known as the accommodations of the lens. Or in the case of the close focus images, so on that time the parasympathetic nervous system can be regulated. So this system, it can cause the contractions of the ciliary muscles. So due to contractions of ciliary muscles, so the lens become the thick. Due to that the pupil size, so that was decreases. Okay, so due to decrease the pupil size, so the near image, so that can exactly fall on the retina. So that is the adjustment of size according to the image distance. Okay, either the size of the lens increases or decreases, or the pupil size increases or decreases by involving the contractions of ciliary muscle or relaxations of ciliary muscle is known as the accommodations of lens. So that was regulated by the sympathetic nervous system, so as well as the parasympathetic nervous system. So next one is the, that is the convergence of image. So already you know regarding the human, they are consist of the two eye, and at a time the two eye are involved in the vision. So that type of vision is known as the binocular visions. But in the phase of the convergence of image, so that is the eye can move inwards. Okay, so due to movement of the eye inwards, so then only the both eye can focus on the single image. So that's why the single image can be fall on the retina. Okay, so that the adjustment of the movement of eye in the same direction or in the unit or fixed distance, so that was known as the convergence of the image. So next one, that was known as the photochemical activity in the retina, and as well as the conversions of into a object into a neural impulses. So here the retina, it was mainly consist of the special type of the cells. So those are known as the rods and as well as the cones. So the each eye, so that was consist of the 120 millions of the rods. So the rods, so they are mainly helpful for the regulations of the black white image visions. So due to presence of the rods, so they are the 120 millions. So then only the white and black image we can see. If any problem in the rods, so then we cannot see the black and white image. So these rods are the special type of the cells, so they are present in the retina. So their number is the 120 million. So they are helpful for the regulations of the black and white images. So rods, so they consist of the, that is the light sensitive pigment, so that was known as the rhodopsins. So rhodopsin is the one of the pigment. So this pigment is present in the rods. So that pigment was helpful for the regulations of the or recognitions of the black and white images. So this rhodospin, so it is made up of the protein called a socotopsin, and as well as it consists of the retinine and retinols. So retinine and retinol, so these are the derivatives of vitamin A. Okay, so these are retinine are also known as the retinol. So these are the derivatives of the vitamin A. So they are play an important role in the regulations of the visions. So these vitamin A retinol, so they exist in the two form, that is the cis retinol and as well as the transretinols. Okay, so both cis and transretinol, so they are helpful for, are present in the rods, so they are helpful for the recognitions of the black and white images. And regarding another cells, photocells, so they are present in the retina, so those are known as the cones. So our eye, so they are consist of the 7 millions of cones, and these cones, so they are mainly three types. That is the, some cones are red color, so they are helpful for recognition of the red, and some cones are known as the green cones, so they are helpful for the recognition of the green color, and some cones, so they are known as the blue cones, so they are helpful for to recognize as blue, and combinations of these cones, so they are helpful for the recognition of the other color images. It means the cones, so they are play an important role in the regulations of the color visions. So these cones, so they are made of the pigment, so that like a rhodopsin, so those are known as the adopsins. Okay, so these adopsins, so they are mainly consist of the photopsin and as well as the L1 cis retinol. So during the color visions, there is a, so these special photocells, so they are involved in the regulations of both black and white and color. So that's why, so due to large number of the rods, we can easily recognize the black and white image as compared to the color image, because the cones are the less in numbers. And here in the both vision, that is the black and white image, so the vitamin A is play an important role, because the retinol and L1-cis retinol, so they are the parts of the rhodopsin and rhodopsin, so their structural changes, so they are helpful for the recognitions of the image or the object can convert into a impulse. So regarding the functions of the rhodopsin, so when the light will be hits on the rod cells and isomerase the retinol, so these rod cells, so they are present in the retina. So when the light will be hit or fall on the retina, so these rod cells are activated. Similarly, the cone is also activated in the case of the detections of the color image, and the rhodopsin is converted into a meta-rhodopsin 2. Then further, the meta-rhodopsin, so they can activate the transducin, and the transducin further it can activate the phosphodiesterase enzyme, so that enzyme it can hydrolyze the cyclic GMP. So due to hydrolyzations of the cyclic GMP or decrease the cyclic GMP, the sodium channels are closed. So due to closing of sodium channel, the sodium channel cannot be enter in the retinal cells. Then the membrane become the hyperpolarized, and it was responsible for the creations of the electrical impulses, and those impulses sent to the brain, so with the help of the optic nerve. So like that, so these rhodopsin and as well as the rhodopsin, so they are involved in the to convert image into a impulses, and those impulses carried towards the brain, so then only the vision is possible. Okay, so next one, so regarding the processing of image in the brain and perception. So dear students, the retina, it was mainly consist of the five type of cells. So those are known as the, there is a photoreceptor cell, that is rod and cone. The rod is helpful for recognition of the black and white image, and the cone is helpful for the recognition of the color objects. And as well as, so this retina, it was consist of the bipolar cells, ganglion cells, and horizontal cells, and as well as amacrine cells. And these photoreceptor cells, so they convert image into impulses, and those impulses carries by the ganglion cells, so with the help of the optic nerve, and also ganglion they can carries the impulses regarding the image recognition from the horizontal cells and amacrine cells. Then it can send or supply to the special type of nuclei. So that was known as the lateral geniculate nuclei. So that was present on the thalamus. Then the thalamus, it was helpful for to project the impulses on a primary visual cortex. So the our visual area. So that was present in the occipital lobe of the cerebrum. So then only the image can be perceived. So like that. So when the light, so that can falls on the rods and cones, so they can convert images into impulses, and those impulses further, so they are transported, so with the help of the lateral cells, that is the horizontal cells, then enter into the bipolar cells. So bipolar cells, so they collect the impulses, so that was generated with the help of the rods and cones by a special type of cells. Those are present retina, those are known as the bipolar cells. From the bipolar cells, so that was collected by the nerve fibers, so those are rich of the ganglionic cells. So with the help of the optic nerve, so that is the nerve fibers or ganglion cells, so they collect the impulses from the bipolar cells and as well as from the amacrine cells, as well as the from the amacrine cells from the that is the right eye. Okay, it is applied from the left eye, it is from the right eye. So the both images, so they are joined in a single places and onwards, so they move in the single direction. So that is the with the help of the ganglion cells. Then further, so these single pathway of the regarding the impulses, they carries towards the thalamus, and this is known as the optic tract. So that tract can collect the impulses from the both eye and supply to the or fall onto the thalamus. So thalamus, it consists of the special type of nucleus, so that was known as the lateral, that is the geniculate nucleus. It can collect the impulses from the ganglionic cells through a optic tract. Then this thalamus, it can project or it can focus, so these impulses can reaches to the occipital lobe. So then only occipital lobe, it consists of the primary visual area or visual cortex. So they are recognize the image. So that recognized image, so that can reaches to the different parts of the brain. So then only we can recognize the object. So that was in the front of the eye. So this is known as the processing of the image in a brain as well as perception. So that was help, that was done, so with the help of the different type of the cells, so those are present in the retina with the help of the thalamus and as well as the occipital lobe. Okay, so remaining will be discussed